Beneath the cold, grey skin of the Atlantic, nearly 5 kilometers down, lies a ghost made of steel. The Bismarck, once the pride of a regime, now a monument of rust and memory. Her story began in arrogance and ended in silence. Today she sleeps beneath the waves, untouched, unseen, and almost forgotten. But deep under the pressure of the sea, the ship endures, a time capsule sealed in salt and sorrow. Every meter downward feels like a step back through history. The light fades to blue, then to black. The water thickens. Pressure builds until even sound seems to collapse. Then, through the haze, a shape emerges. Steel, vast and still, draped in marine snow. This is the Bismarck, a city of iron entombed beneath the Atlantic. Here commanders once stood, shouting orders through storms and fire. Now only stillness answers. The wheel frozen mid-turn. Gauges pointing nowhere. A place that once thrummed with human urgency now hums with the low current of eternity. Every corroded dial tells of the ship's last day, the rush, the panic, the sudden quiet. Even in ruin, the bridge feels alive, as if waiting for voices that will never return. What was once a weapon of terror is now a cathedral of silence. Fish drift through shattered windows. Coral blooms on guns that once roared across oceans. The sea, patient and unrelenting, has turned war into art. They called her the most powerful warship afloat. 8 guns, each capable of hurling a shell the weight of a car over 20 miles. But down here, they aim into the dark, silent and blind. Barnacles coat the muzzles. Tiny fish drift through them, like ghosts through gates. Once instruments of destruction, now sculptures of peace. The sea has done what humanity could not, silenced the Bismarck forever. This was once a place of conversation, of plans and laughter before the storm. Polished boots, pressed uniforms, crystal glasses, all gone. Now tables lean on one leg. Cups lie half buried in silt. A single fork, its handle green with corrosion, rests beside a cracked plate. It's hard not to imagine the men who once sat here, young, certain, unaware that the sea would one day claim them all. Once, this was the ship's pulse. Engines roared here, heat, smoke, vibration. Now it is a hollow lung. The machinery stands skeletal, eaten by salt. Cables sway gently like seaweed. A valve twitches under the current, movement without life. Every fragment of metal hums with faint echoes. The ghosts of turbines that turned no longer for war, but for memory. Here messages once crackled in Morse, desperate, coded, alive. Now the transmitters hang like ribs, empty and brittle. Wires float in silence, still reaching for signals that will never come. It was here the Bismarck sent her final call. Ship sinking, we will fight to the last shell. Now only the ocean answers, repeating that signal endlessly in the language of pressure and time. Hundreds slept here, sailors, engineers, gunners, now reduced to memory, bunks tilt beneath layers of silt. A boot lies half buried beside a locker. A faded nameplate, Müller, still clings to the metal. In one corner, a photo, blurred but visible, faces smiling, unaware of what was to come. This was home, cramped, noisy, alive. Now it feels like time itself has stopped breathing. Once, this room echoed with conversation, clattering dishes, the rhythm of daily life. Now tin cups roll gently as currents shift. A chair drifts slowly from one side to another, caught in a motionless dance. The sea has no hurry. It reclaims everything, quietly, completely. brass shells stacked like bones, each once filled with violence. Now they are relics, oxidized, fragile, harmless. The ocean, with infinite patience, turned weapons into fossils. A single shell floats free, tumbling slowly through the light. It feels almost reverent, destruction surrendered to stillness. Here men once fought not enemies but death itself. Now, bottles of morphine sit sealed in corrosion. Glass syringes rest among coral dust. A metal bed leans sideways, its frame wrapped in rust and sponge. The Bismarck's galley, once alive with fire and smell, is now a cathedral of decay. Copper pots cling to walls mottled with algae. The clock above the stove still hangs, its hands frozen just before noon, the moment life aboard the ship truly ended. A single ladle sways as if stirred by invisible hands. Down here, even stillness feels like movement. Every surface whispers of urgency long gone. The sea has rewritten this place. Medicine turned to memory, mercy turned to silence. Crates collapse in quiet ruin. Faded labels still read café and brot. Biscuits turned to dust. Tins split open like fossils of daily life. Even in war, men carried pieces of home, coffee, bread, memory. Now fish glide between cans, stirring golden clouds of silt. The ocean keeps their small comforts, unjudging, eternal. This was once a chamber of command, where the ship's fate was decided. Now its grandeur has dissolved into shadow. A desk overturned, ink frozen mid-spill down a corroded wall. A pen still rests in place, as if waiting for orders never written. A silver button glints in the light, perhaps from a uniform left behind. And on the floor, a leather-bound journal lies sealed by the sea. Its words unreadable, but their weight still felt. If the ship had a soul, it lived here, in ink and paper. Now those records lie dissolved, their secrets scattered through the current. A single envelope drifts by, its wax seal broken by salt. History unbound, untraceable, freed into the deep. Every story aboard this ship has blended into one. The story of silence swallowing noise, of memory surrendering to time. This stair once echoed with hurried boots. Now it descends into nothing. Railings bloom with sponges. Steps collapse beneath their own corrosion. A single officer's cap drifts slowly downward, spinning like a fallen leaf. It passes through beams of light, then vanishes into blue. Even the symbols of rank fade in the deep. Down here, the sea makes all things equal. This was the brain of the ship, where calculations of war turned into thunder. Now the panels are scorched, wires like vines, dials fixed mid-turn. A beam of light passes through a cannon barrel, shimmering like the last breath of fire. In this silence, it's hard to imagine the roar that once filled this space. Harder still to ignore how peaceful it feels now. High above, the crow's nest leans in stillness.